Hello everyone, I am Sagar Bhanushali and in this video lecture we are going to study about the cell and the cell theory. Cell and the cell theory. So we all know that the cell is the fundamental and structural unit of all living organisms. So all the living organisms are made up of cells. Some of the organisms are made up of only one cell, hence they are known as unicellular organisms, while some of the organisms are made up of many cells. So they are known as multicellular organisms. So the organisms who are made up of only one cell are known as unicellular, and the organisms who are made up of many types of cells are known as multicellular organisms. So unicellular organisms, they are made up of only one cell. So they are independent and they perform their functions on their own. So the multicellular organisms, like us, we are the type of multicellular organisms. If we see the organization of our body it is divided into different types of systems, like digestive system, excretory system, circulatory system, and every system consists of organs. These organs are made up of tissues, and these tissues are made up of cells. So there are different organs, so there are different tissues, and there are different types of cells. So coming to the cell discovery, first came Robert Hooke in this point. So first Robert Hooke, he took the cork of a plant and he made a thin slide and he observed in the microscope. What he observed was, he observed the hexagonal type of cells which were tightly packed. He observed hexagonal cells and these cells were tightly packed. He didn't know that the cells were dead cells, so he was not able to see anything inside. He showed that all living organisms or the all the plants are made up of cells. After him came Leeuwenhoek. He observed live cells. Robert Hooke observed dead cells and he observed live cells. So he observed live cells and he showed that the plant body, it is made up of cells and the cells are live. But the cork, as we know that the cork consists of dead cells because it is the outer coating of the plant. Further, Robert Brown, he discovered the nucleus. He showed that there is a nucleus inside the live cell or inside the cell. So this was still the discovery of the cell. But if we talk about the cell theory was started by Sladen. What he did is, he took the different parts of the plants, he made thin slices and he observed in the microscope. He observed that all the different parts of the plants are made up of different type of cells. So Sladen showed that the plant body, it is made up of different types of cells. Okay, so this was in year 1838. He observed different parts of the plants and he concluded that the plant body, it is made up of different types of cells. In the next year, in 1839, Schwann came with a theory, with a postulate that the animal body, it is made up of different type of animal cells. Sladen worked on the plant cells and Schwann worked on animal cells. So Schwann concluded that the animal body, it is made up of different types of animal cells. okay, which were different from the plant cells. In what case? The plant cell had a cell wall outside the thin membrane, but the plant cell, animal cell only had thin cell wall, thin cell membrane. Okay, the plant cell had a cell wall outside the cell membrane, but the animal cell only had the thin outer membrane, which we now know as plasma membrane. There was no cell wall. Okay, so if you want to differentiate between plant cell and animal cells, we can see the cell wall. If there is cell wall, we can directly prove that this is a plant cell. We can directly tell that this is a plant cell. There is a cell wall. If there is no cell wall, we can say that the cell is an animal cell. Further, he said that the plant cell, it is made up of a cell wall. It consists of a cell wall, and the animal cell lacked the cell wall. The animal cell has an only thin boundary, thin outer membrane, which we now know as plasma membrane. So Schwann concluded 2 points. The animal body, it is made up of different types of animal cells, and the animal cell lacked the cell wall, and there was only a thin boundary, thin outer membrane, which we now know as plasma membrane. So the cell theory stated the point as all the living organisms are made up of cells. Okay, but this failed at one point. That how new cells are formed, they were not able to answer this question. So the third individual came into this, Rudolf Virchow. He showed that the cells divide. This cell is an animal cell and it divides to form two cells, two daughter cells. And these cells further grow up, and these cells also divide to form again daughter cells. Okay, so he said that the new cells arise from the pre-existing cells. That this was an old cell and this divided to form new daughter cells. Okay, so the points that were concluded after this, the points that were given by Sladen and Schwann were from the cell theory. But after the Rudolf Virchow gave the statement or gave the conclusion, this was said as the modern cell theory. Modern cell theory. The theory that was given by Sladen and Schwann was old cell theory, and the theory which was modified by Rudolf Virchow is known as modern cell theory. The first point was every living organism, that is all living organisms, are made up of cells and products of cells. The second point, all the new cells are produced from the pre-existing cells. All the new cells are produced from pre-existing cells. Okay, so this was about the cell and the cell theory. If you like my video, please do like, subscribe, share. Thank you.